2 Chronicles, chapter 23. And in the 7th year Jehoiada has strengthened himself, and takes the heads of the hundreds, even Azariah son of Jeroham, and Ishmael son of Jehohanan, and Azariah son of Obed, and Maaseiah son of Adaiah, and Elishaphat son of Zichri, into the covenant with him. And they go around in Judah, and gather the Levites out of all the cities of Judah, and the heads of the fathers of Israel, and come to Jerusalem. And all the assembly make a covenant in the house of God with the king. And he says to them, Behold, the son of the king reigns, as Yahweh spoke concerning the sons of David. This is the thing that you do. The third of you, going in on the Sabbath of the priests and of the Levites, are for gatekeepers of the thresholds. And the third are at the house of the king, and the third at the fountain gate. And all the people are in the courts of the house of Yahweh. And none enter the house of Yahweh except the priests, and those ministering of the Levites. They go in, for they are holy. And all the people keep the watch of Yahweh. And the Levites have surrounded the king all around, each with his weapon in his hand. And he who has gone into the house is put to death, and be with the king in his coming in and in his going out. And the Levites and all Judah do according to all that Jehoiada the priest has commanded. And each takes his men going in on the Sabbath, with those going out on the Sabbath, for Jehoiada the priest has not let away the divisions. And Jehoiada the priest gives to the heads of the hundreds the spears and the shields and the bucklers that are King David's, that are in the house of God. And he stations the whole of the people, and each with his dart in his hand, from the right shoulder of the house to the left shoulder of the house, at the altar and at the house, by the king, all around. And they bring out the son of the king, and put the crown on him, and give him the testimony, and cause him to reign. And Jehoiada and his sons anoint him, and say, Let the king live. And Athaliah hears the voice of the people who are running, and who are praising the king. And she comes to the people in the house of Yahweh, and sees, and behold, the king is standing by his pillar in the entrance, and the heads and the trumpets are by the king, and all the people of the land rejoicing and shouting with trumpets, and the singers with instruments of song, and the teachers to praise. And Athaliah tears her garments and says, Conspiracy! Conspiracy! And Jehoiada the priest brings out the heads of the hundreds, inspectors of the force, and says to them, Take her out from within the rows, and he who has gone after her is put to death by the sword. For the priest said, Do not put her to death in the house of Yahweh. And they make sides for her, and she comes to the entrance of the horse gate at the house of the king, and they put her to death there. And Jehoiada makes a covenant between him and between all the people and between the king, to be for a people to Yahweh. And all the people enter the house of Baal and break it down. Indeed, they have broken his altars and his images, and they have slain Mattan, priest of Baal, before the altars. And Jehoiada puts the offices of the house of Yahweh into the hands of the priests, the Levites, whom David had appointed over the house of Yahweh, to cause the burnt offerings of Yahweh to ascend, as written in the law of Moses, with joy and with singing, by the hands of David. And he stations the gatekeepers over the gates of the house of Yahweh, and the unclean thing in anything do not go in. And he takes the heads of the hundreds, and the majestic ones, and the rulers among the people, and all the people of the land, and brings down the king from the house of Yahweh, and they come in through the high gate to the house of the king, and cause the king to sit on the throne of the kingdom. And all the people of the land rejoice, and the city has been quiet, and they have put Athaliah to death by the sword.